Welcome to my living room. As you can see, I'm wearing jeans and just a t-shirt because it's at the end of the day, just like probably you are at the end of your day or whatever, and really the only thing on your mind is you want to go to bed because you're tired. But you know you need to do some stretching. So this is the kind of thing that I go through at night when, just like you, I'm a little too tired and don't really want to. So first we got to get a little warm. Sometimes if you've had the time, the best thing you can do is take a bath, and that'll get your temperature up, and then you can go right ahead and start stretching. But if you're just going into it straight from doing something else, putting the kids to bed or whatever, it's best just to go through a little mini circuit. You can do like a couple push-ups or a couple sit-ups or some squats and stuff just to get yourself warm. I like to do just kind of like an opening yoga sequence, but we're not going to get all technical with it. Basically, just follow me through, and I'll talk to you as I do it. So on the first part where I lift my hands up over my head like so, I'm straightening them up and I'm shrugging these muscles up like that. And what that does is it stretches this out like this, okay? Now once I do that, then I can put my hands wherever I want. Everybody has their own special spot or whatever they feel comfortable with. But keep your back tight and then bend forward here. Sometimes it may be on your knees if you're really tight. And then squat down to go here. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can just put your hands down. One foot steps back, so does the other. You're going to lower down. Now some people will go directly on their knees and then arch here. Other people will come down and then just push forward. Then you'll come back. And now you're going to stretch the hamstrings and the calves as you push the shoulders up. And I usually hold this for 5 breaths. Then step forward again. And that's one cycle through. I might do that 1 to 5 times. Now if you're looking for the finer points on that, it's best to just go with a yoga DVD. And that's not the point of this. The whole point of this is just to get warm. So let's just do it 2 more times. That would be a sun salutation if you want to look it up. And we're going to do it 2 more times to get warm, and then we'll go into some more stretches just for the hips and stuff like I want to cover. Now on the third one, I'll say all the things that I'm doing this time. And that way we can do it together if you haven't already. And then pause it and go through it as many times as you want until you're warm. Okay? Reach up to the sky, bending forward, flexing the quads, reaching down as far as you can. You're flexing the quads to stretch the hamstrings in the back. Take 1 step back. Lower into the bottom of the push-up position. Push forward. Arching. Reaching up to the sky. Pushing the hands down. Go back. Push the bum up to the sky. Bring your feet in until you can just about get those heels to touch the ground. Spreading your toes out. Getting a good stretch in the calves, hamstrings. Pushing the shoulders forward. And then step through. A little forward bend again. And come on up. Okay, so I can start to feel myself getting warm. Now, we're going to attack this area first. so that it straightens us up, okay? This area gets nice and short. And then this comes through. See how I explain? This muscle comes up, comes through, and attaches in back here. And what that does is it pulls on your lower back, and you get that tight pain down here. And most people don't know it's because you're tight up here, okay? So what we're gonna do is it's not so much the quad area, we'll get to that after. It's actually this little muscle that comes up in through here. So go into a lunge position, flop your heel out. Can you see that? Yeah. So my heel goes out that way. I make sure my hips are facing forward. Now, you can put your arms out. There's several ways to get into it. I'll just do it the way that I like. First thing to do, squeeze the glute so that you don't stick the belly out and arch the lower back here. See, you don't want that. So you're going to squeeze the glute and keep the lower ab area tight. Hips forward, heel out. Bring your arms out like this. Now tilt this way in towards this bent leg. So that now if I'm narrow, comes up that way. And now with this tilt, and I don't allow my hips to open up, I'm going to tilt my upper body. So I tilt, rotate, and then I can just rest here. But I do not want to open up the hips. It's just the upper body. So let's start that stretch right now. Now, keep squeezing the glutes, moving it forward and stretch, but still not allow that lower back to arch. Should feel it all up and through here, tilting into the knee, rotating, squeezing the glute. And now we're going to switch sides. I'm going to do, or I might be going a little fast because I'm talking, but you're looking for a 60 seconds total per stretch. You can break that down into 230s if you like, or 160, totally up to you, or you can go by breaths, whatever that would get that lot of time. So heel flops out, glute engaged, tilting towards the supporting leg, and rotating. Now I can just let this rest. Do whatever I want with this arm because it's just the body that's important here. But if you want an extra stretch, push this palm, the heel of the palm out. Breathe slow and deep. If you can go further into it, go into it. Make sure your hips are still facing forward. They haven't opened up. Squeeze the glute. All right, perfect. Now, there's a few different things. None of this is originated by myself. This is all taken from yoga, Ming Chu, different fascial stretching techniques, the genius of flexibility, all these sorts of things. Just condensed down so you can use it right quick. We've opened up the hips now. I'll show you how to get the quads. It's two ways. First way, lie down on your stomach. One hand comes across the face. The other hand reaches for the quad and pulls directly down on it. So there's the inner grab. We're going to go up top. Your knees are fairly close together. And now the degree you prop up on your forearm increases the stretch. Then you pull that heel down to the outer glute area. So that way. Now, there's probably a little gap between your hip and the floor. You want to squeeze your butt so it pushes the gap out so that your hip is flat on the floor. And pull. Also squeeze your hamstring. Switch sides. Pulling down, glute and hamstring engaged to push the hip into the ground to remove any gap. Okay, now those can be done anywhere. If you have a wall handy, you can almost get both of them at the same time. It's a little bit more intense, so you might not want to go to this one right away, but it is really handy. So slide your knee back into the wall. You can see my foot back there against the wall. Walk this foot out. Engage the glute. Feel it right away. Especially if you do the instructions I told you on the other one, where you tilt into the bent leg and then start to rotate while engaging the glute. And switch. So these are stretching out those muscles that are short all day from sitting. Again, all you got to remember here is to squeeze the glute. The muscles that are short all day from sitting, or from people that do a lot of biking, the Stairmaster, and other activities like that. Okay, now, if your hamstrings are tight, in fact, the forward bend I showed you at the beginning is one of the best, like so, but with a really straight back. So don't be tempted to go for extra depth by rounding. Stay straight. If you need to support yourself at first here, that's fine, even if you need this. Another way is to go into the kneeling or the squat position and push your knees back until you get the stretch like so. So we're down. I put my palms flat. Not sure what the best angle is for you. Palms flat. And then I just start to stand up, squeezing my claws back. Now some people will stop here, and that's perfectly fine. You just feel the tension there, that's okay. And just keep extending until you feel the stretch for you. And hold that for your count. That's for the hamstrings. Now, a really important one we're going to get to now, I have to grab a chair, is going to be for these glutes. And that will help with all the pain that radiates down in through here and the tight kneecap stuff. So I'll grab the chair. Okay. All right. With the feet, I'm going to pull my foot up and then my pinky towards me, pinky toe. Okay? And that's on both feet, including the one that's up. So up. If you're tight, like I did a boot camp class yesterday, I'm pretty tight today, which is all the more reason I need the stretch before I go to bed. Pull both feet up, pinky in. Now, just with my inner thigh muscle, I'm going to pull that towards here. I don't want to try to push off this. I don't want to push off my leg. So I'm just actually going to pull it towards me. If I could, I would lift the ankle off. Okay, now if I did happen to create a gap here by lifting the ankle off, then I would just bring my knee up anyway to increase the stretch and close the gap. That's just the idea of what muscles you want to squeeze, okay? So I squeeze this up, and then I just help it out a little bit here by pulling it in. Now the more I squeeze my inner thigh and try to lift my ankle off my knee, the more I'm going to get a stretch out here in the glute, okay? You can try different ways too. If you find if you roll and you get different feeling, or if you pull it in closer to you, or if you move your knee out a little bit, all these things will make a difference for you. And then you'll find when you switch sides probably that you started with your loose side, and that in this side it'll be really tight. So again, the toes come up and back, and then you squeeze that thigh up, and then you give it a hand. With that knee out, if the knee starts to drift in, move it out. Find yourself starting to crane forward a lot, which is something I tend to do. Pull your head back. You don't want your chin down, but just pull your head back. Now you'll find with some of the stronger muscles, which include the like the rectus femoris up through the front here, basically the front of your legs, and into this hip flexor area and these glutes, that if you're tight, they won't relax until you've been stretching them for about at least 30 seconds. So although something is better than nothing, try to get those full stretches in for the full length of time. What'll happen, it'll start to shake a little bit, and then if you just keep breathing, you'll just feel it melt away. And it's worth it to go through it a couple times, a couple different sessions, like maybe a week. You know, when it hits, you'll be like, wow, that's the stuff right there. Okay, now the last one I want to get, we've got glutes, we've got hams, quads, hip flexors. I want to get the calves, and then that's it. Now without all this gobbledygook talking and stuff, you should be able to get through a full minute on each of these stretches in 15 minutes. I've been going for about 18 now. So it's pretty quick. You can get her done, and it'll make a big difference to your life. So let's get on to the calves now. I'll just push the chair aside. This will also double as your lengthener for your hamstring stretch here as well, because the more you pull the leg back towards your head, the more the hamstrings will get it, not just the calves. So you'll see what I mean right now. What I do is I move my hip up to the wall, and then I just spin around so that my bum is actually against the wall. Now, one leg will stay down, the other leg up, and I lasso my foot. Anything will work. Now, if your foot's here, that's perfectly fine, but you want to squeeze the front of your shin to pull the toe down. And now the more I bring this back towards me this way, the more my hamstring gets it, although this is a calf stretch, okay? So I find a spot, now I pull with my left hand, which brings the big toe closer towards me, and I'm squeezing my muscle here. Now I'm going to go for the outer part and pull more with my right. I was pulling left, now I'm going to pull right. Still squeezing the shin muscle. And if I want to get a little bit more hamstring, I'll pull it towards my head a little bit more. Alright, you get the idea there. Same on this other side here. Pulling with the right now. Pulling back towards my head as much as I want for the hamstring. Pull with the left a little bit more now. All right. Now you should feel considerably looser in your lower body. So there you go.